hello, and good Friday morning to you. What is up, Internet? I'm Lucia, and this is the 734 from WCCO. We know most of you are on your way to work or maybe heading out the door. Maybe you're even headed to the lake here pretty quick. So we want to get you started on today's weather. As you know, it is going to be a hot one today. We'll have temperatures in the 90s. It'll feel even hotter, though. Much of the metro will be under an excessive heat warning today. That starts at noon, and that will last all the way through 8 p.m. on Saturday. So find a lake or a pool or a sprinkler and stay cool. Today, the Twins are back on the baseball diamond. The team will take on the Chicago White Sox tonight in the Windy City. It's been an interesting few weeks leading up to this day. Every team has been figuring out how to best prepare. And on the road, it's up to the home team's plan to keep everyone safe. Even with the players in action, the game was still a lot different than it was a year ago. Coaches and some players will be in masks, while empty stadiums will have fan noise actually piped in over the speakers. So we are asking you, what are you going to miss the most about in-person baseball games? So different. Is it the food? Is it the actual game? Is it your favorite player, seeing them in action, or is it just even hanging out at the ballpark? Those watching on Facebook, leave a comment here. We want to read through them coming up in just a little bit. Police are investigating a deadly shooting in Minneapolis last night. Investigators say someone shot a 17-year-old boy around 6 last night outside a market at 35th in Chicago. That's just 3 blocks from the corner of where George Floyd died. Officers used CPR to revive the teenager, but he died later at the hospital. Police are still looking for the shooter. And a sad update on a story we've been covering for days. Rescue crews found the body of an 11-year-old boy in the Mississippi River yesterday. The boy disappeared Tuesday night while he was swimming at Hidden Falls Regional Park in St. Paul. A 20-year-old man has been arrested in connection with his mom's death in Big Lake. Sherburne County deputies and Big Lake police responded to a home on Gulf Street where the suspect's dad had called police to report the crime. Police were able to arrest the 20-year-old without any problems. Neighbors say they don't see a lot of crime like this around here.
It's just kind of unheard of. We just don't see this around here that much. I haven't seen police tape unless it's been, a fire or something.
The name of the people involved have not yet been released. The sheriff's office should put out more details today. The city council will vote today on another move that would take more power away from the Minneapolis Police Department. They are voting on a measure that would eliminate the public information officers from the police department, and that includes John Elder, who you see regularly on WCCO. There he is right there. He shares information with the media, with other journalists. Council members say instead City Hall would handle communications. Here's what a council member and an opponent of the idea had to say.
We see problems with accuracy, that we see problems with at least perceived bias in the way information is presented.
I understand we have a financial crisis, but if you really care about making information available to the public, if you really care about this thing called transparency, then why would you get rid of a major way of providing transparency, which is what this is?
The city council will vote on eliminating the 2 positions in just a couple of hours. If it is passed, the positions will be eliminated by October of this year. In 1 week, Governor Tim Walz plans to share Minnesota's strategy for the upcoming school year. The state says the governor will make the announcement on July 30th. And last month, the state told schools to prepare for either in-person classes, distance learning, or a hybrid of the 2. Education Minnesota surveyed teachers about what they hope to see this fall, and 49% said they'd prefer distance learning, 29% want part distance and part in person, and then 17% said they want all in-person learning. Wisconsin high schools just got the green light to allow fall sports this school year. The Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association board voted 8-3 on Thursday morning to allow practice for lower risk fall sports, including cross country, girls golf, girls swim, and girls tennis. They'll start on August 17th. Practice for football, boys soccer, and volleyball, that can start on September 7th, which is a month later than it usually starts. School districts can opt out of fall sports and move them to the spring. The board allows student athletes to play more than one sport a season, and the board has guidelines for districts to safely operate practices as well as games if they happen.
A football sideline might go down to the 10-yard lines. Everybody's physically distancing by 6 yards each. If you're off the field, you're going to have your face mask on. We're going to have guidelines for officials, face masks on. Everybody has their own water bottle. All of those things are what we're going to develop coming up into this next month before we get into competitions.
The board says there will likely not be state tournaments for any fall sports because the season is so condensed. Games will likely just be within a school's conference. They also expect the number of games to drop by more than half, and some teams might not have any games. They just want to allow practices above anything else so students could have some camaraderie. President Donald Trump canceled the Republican National Convention because of the COVID-19 outbreak. The convention was supposed to happen next month in Jacksonville, Florida. But the president now says the timing isn't right because of Florida's spike in the cases. The president promised there would be online alternatives. More Americans are looking for work as states pull back on plans to reopen. 1.4 million workers filed new unemployment claims benefits in the last week. That's the first increase in weekly claims since March. The news comes just days before a $600 a week jobless benefit is set to expire. The White House and congressional Republicans say they've reached a fundamental agreement on a Phase 4 relief bill, though it may lack Democratic support if it doesn't include the extra $600 a week of unemployment benefits. A final bill could be ready for a vote by the end of next week. Washington football team, that's the name of the NFL franchise in Washington, D.C. for now. The new team name is effective immediately. Owners plan to keep it in place until they decide on a new permanent name. Washington retired the controversial name Redskins earlier this month after facing increased pressure due to the name's racist connotations. And Minnesota Viking Kyle Rudolph gave some frontline workers a reason to smile. The tight end dropped off $100 cup gift cards to 100 workers at the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. The giveaway comes on behalf of the 3M Open, for which Rudolph serves as an ambassador.
We tip our cap to the frontline workers, to those men and women who have set their livelihood aside to protect ours and, more importantly, to protect the kids in that hospital.
Now, this isn't the only way the hospital benefits from the golf tournament. Net proceeds from the 3M Open also go to charity each year, and that includes the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. So back to today's talker. The Twins are back on the baseball field tonight. They're playing in the windy city of Chicago, taking on the White Sox. And even with the players back in action, the game was still different. Last night, we saw the Washington Nationals take on the New York Yankees. So coaches and some of the players, you'll see them wearing masks during tonight's game, while of course you'll also see empty stadium, and some of those stadiums will actually have fan noise piped into the speakers to make it feel like there were actually fans in the stadium. So we asked you, what are you going to miss about baseball? Peanuts, popcorn, Cracker Jacks? We want to know. So we are getting feedback from all of our viewers, and Eric, you are paying close attention to this for us today in your sports t-shirt. We will not say the name of the team you are wearing, but
they used to be the Minneapolis Lakers.
They did used to be the Minneapolis Lakers.
That's why I wear this shirt.
Okay. So what are people saying, Eric?
We got a couple comments here. Jack said kids catching fly balls. That's always fun to see.
It is, yes. No, none of that this year.
I've never been even remotely close to a fly ball. I've always been kind of disappointed by that.
I always just duck because I don't want to get hit.
Right. Jack also, again, Jack had a lot of things. He said the sound of a well-struck ball also.
The crack of the bat.
In person.
You wonder if there will be people just outside the stadium listening for that.
Exactly. Becca says, I'm actually going to miss all of it. The food, the yelling, trying to start the wave. It's all part of the same experience.
Yes, and especially out at Target Field. There so many great restaurants there, so many great kind of just like pop-up shops that you can eat some of the local food, and you won't be able to do any of that. So
I have two things. They're both music related. One, my favorite song. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yes, of course.
I don't know what it's called, but it's catchy. And then the other one, I love hearing people's walk-up music. I never know what the songs are, but I love hearing them.
It's something that I think that we all look forward to when we find out what the batting lineup is going to be. What song will they walk out to? Will a player pick the same song over and over? Joe Mauer
Like
was
Joe Mauer.
known. He picked the same song every year, but then there are other players who pick something new. Baby Shark was really big, of course, with the Washington Nationals last year. So yeah, that is going to be weird.
What about you? What do you miss most?
I think I'm just going to miss just going to the game and really just taking in all of the sights and sounds of baseball games, because I think it really does mean summer. Baseball is summer, and we don't get to experience that in the same way this summer.
Nothing like
But at
sunset.
least we can watch the game, and you better believe there will be a lot of people watching the Twins tonight. All right, well, Eric, thank you, and thank you for watching the 7:34 on WCCO. We'll